everyone, welcome back to our second part of the interview in which we will be discussing on the future insights about the industry. With the emergence of COVID-19, many industries have integrated remote working. Given the nature of the chemical industry, where the manufacturing plants are labor-intensive, the majority of operations cannot be done remotely. How did Evonik deal with the situation? Does the company have any intention to invest in advanced technology to tackle with the issue if it were to prevail again in the future?
I could answer all this with a yes, yes, yes. that would be too simple. Let's have a look. Yes, of course. As a company coming from a technical point of view, from a science point of view, and many German companies came from that point of view. They became multinational. Evonik Industries is a multinational company. It is a chemical company, and the heart, let's say, is a chemical heart. So we know our processes. We know what is going on. We have 12,000 patents. This is there is a huge knowledge behind. And we have trademarks for 7,500 products. So overall, I believe we have 12,000 different products. I never met anybody who counted all these products. But there you can see there is a lot of knowledge behind. And chemical industry, it was, I really have to say, was the part where many companies came from. Other companies, they came from the hard to build engines, for example, the German automotive company. Evonik Industry came with a lot of chemical companies purely from the chemical point of view, from the chemical science point of view. But these days, what is very, very important, and also that you can see this in our acquisitions in the last years, the biotechnology part comes up more and more. For me personally, what happens here is that chemical industry, chemical reactions and what is behind here, they melting together with biotechnology. So it is, I always astonished when I hear that bacteria is doing actually the kind of a chemical job in a way. And at the end, this biotechnology is melting together with the chemical industry, and that is boosting a lot of activities, and that makes activities interesting. Interesting not only from a commercial point of view, it makes them interesting also from an energy point of view. It makes them interesting from a climate point of view. So you're going and you have to melt together chemical activities with biotechnology. And that is a really, really huge boost in the future. And there's a lot of things coming up. And Evonik Industries is actually acting exactly in this directions. We're buying a lot of biotechnologies. And these days, speed is very important. If you find smaller companies, spin-offs or whatsoever, small, I wouldn't describe them as garage companies, but smaller companies who are very, very precise and have a high technology and a high science power in a certain specific area, which you as a huge industry company cannot build up immediately, you buying these companies. And that's exactly what Evonik is doing, because that is boosting your knowledge in certain areas tremendous. And these kind of companies, they need then the infrastructure to grow further. And that is where it is a nice match to have at the end, because they're bringing very specific, very special knowledge into the game, and you bringing the infrastructure, the financial power, the human power. They have a different ground and to operate and to scale up. That's exactly what Evonik is doing, and that's why we in so many different fields. And that is exactly what we described as these portfolio activities. There are activities coming and going, and you optimize constantly your portfolio. So that is absolutely behind these kind of activities, what Evonik is doing.
As you all know, in the business world, companies are bound to compete with one another to stay on top. In the past years, Evonik has acquired 13 companies. Its largest acquisition to date was in 2016, when it acquired Air Product Incorporated Performance Materials Division for 3.8 billion. What is Evonik's strategies in terms of acquiring biotech companies such as Genacell and Propel?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned is with the biotech companies. That is the intention to melt chemical industries together with biotechnology. That is our intention. And you see, as I mentioned it, there's a certain, let's call it ground of operation where a company is operating, where they do business. Yeah, but let's say if your parent company is in a different business, you might have the wrong parents, so to say. And that's why we do acquisitions, and you mentioned it, also sometimes on a high level where we believe where we can offer a different ground to operate business different than other companies are doing. And that's why these portfolio activities where we selling and buying companies constantly is very important, because that gives the possibility for companies who are, let's say, for example, operating on a mid-range or on a smaller range. And if they're coming into our group, they can operate there on a much higher scale. So that is different, and they get a different ground to operate. That brings their activities forward, and that brings our activities forward, and together we have a different possibility to build up value here.
Two trends that online retailers are looking to stay ahead of the curve are mobile commerce and personalization. This means that a business owner needs to be mobile friendly and make it easy for users to browse their product. Besides, there are many cases where the product bought are not the same as the product displayed or shown by the company. In this regard, what can e-commerce business owners do to build trust with the customer, which will enhance consumer satisfaction and customer perceived value?
Yeah, thank you, Adam, for this question. This is very interesting. And well, as a head of marketing and e-business, getting very often these questions about e-commerce. Is that really something? Isn't that different to say? Because we are in the B2B area. So our customers, our clients, they have their clients again, and they have their clients. And at the end, there's a product coming out which your consumer is using. There's a clear difference from B2B and from B2C, especially also if it comes to the e-commerce. If you think about whatever Amazon, or if you buy your activity, if you buy your goods in or even services and activities in the internet, you do this as a consumer different. Yeah, you want to have the best price, and it has to happen very fast, and you want to see when is my parcel delivered, and all these things you want to have. All these things, what you want to have as a consumer, they are not there yet so much in the B2B. Yeah. However, the e-commerce, if we're talking about the e-commerce as one part of the e-business, the e-commerce, that means the selling of products and services in the internet via digital channels, is upcoming. And that is something which you cannot ignore, even in conservative industries like the chemical industry. I would believe, from my perspective, it is a conservative industries. Even here, possibilities buying and selling in the e-commerce areas are slowly developing. Again, over the last 2 years with the Corona, these activities really got a boost, no doubt about it. And you cannot ignore that. That's very important. But the speed here is different, and the level here is different. We have many customers, good customers which we know since decades. They say very clear, especially the older German customers or international customers, they say, hey, I do not want to buy my stuff, my products in the internet. I want to see my salesperson here. It is clear, and that will be not ignored. And that has to be like that. So from my point of view, there will be no such thing, especially not in the B2B business, as 100% e-commerce, as 100% digital sales channels. There is no such thing. You have to have the touch base with the customer. You have to have a relationship. However, the e-commerce is coming up. We have also, and that is quite interesting for us, we have even younger customers, younger purchasers, and they say very clear. I was so astonished when one purchaser told me, hey, I'm buying everything in the internet. Why shall I not buy your products also in the internet? Can you give me this possibility? And I said, well, if you don't mind, how old are you? So the person was beginning 20. And I said, okay, it's clear to me, you're looking different at things. You're looking more from a digital point of view. You have different mindset than, for example, an older client, which is 60 plus and buying since 30 years this product face to face. That is clear. But even these clients, they also appreciate slowly the internet. They might not buy from the e-commerce part, but, and that's why we really looking as Evonik Industries and my business line as animal nutrition, we're looking very much also in the complete e-business. And complete e-business means not only e-commerce, not only selling products, not only selling services. We also provide here via the internet possibilities from the information. Information is very crucial these days. And even, as I mentioned it just now, older clients where say, hey, I buy my things personally, I really want to keep that. But they have a look at our portal. They going into the internet, they checking the latest news about products, they checking the latest trials, they checking the latest experiments, they looking into science corners, they looking, even you would be surprised, into technical tutorials, which running virtually in the internet, which is absolutely top convenient. Whenever you want, you just switch on a video tutorial in the internet. Nobody disturbs you. You can get that, you can buy that, or you get it for free. And this is the approach what we have. That means that is much more than only e-commerce, than only selling. It is a complete e-business approach. And I believe personally that that is the right approach if it is come especially to be from B2B business. B2B business has to serve e-business, not only e-commerce. We are not Amazon. That is different. So we have much more things to tell, much more things to offer. But if you would say, well, but these days, if I buy from you even personally, wouldn't it be nice to see when my container arrives with my products? Yes, of course. Track and traceability, for example. These are basic functions which we also provide for our customers, even if they do not sell even if they do not buy via e-commerce, even if we would not sell to them the goods via the digital channel, they have still the possibility to track and to trace when are their goods arriving. And there you can see that the e-commerce plays an absolutely important future role. And I believe this thing is really exploding over the next years. The possibilities what we have here. And for me, most important is the factor information, data, knowledge. And with all this, especially in the B2B area, comes the selling then sooner or later also automatically. Then via e-commerce, if you want to have it this way, or even personally. Or the fast exchange in this way. For us, it is very, very important. If a customer is logging into our customer portal, that this customer also have a person to talk to. If you have a certain question, this is not running into a certain computer. Of course, we also have certain bots behind, machines behind, which have certain standard answers for you. But if you have a specific answer, you place this answer, you place this question in a feedback box, and there's somebody in 24 hours come back to you, a person, not a bot, come back to you and say, hey, I'm Mr. XYZ. I read your question. I would be happy to answer this to you and to give you this and this information. Is that sufficient for you? And you coming into a dialogue, and this possibility to coming into a dialogue from all over the world. And that is something which e-business provides in an absolutely fantastic way.
So there's some interesting way of how to build trust with the customer. So for the next question, the impact of the e-commerce is far and wide. With a rapid effect from small businesses to a global enterprise, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we have witnessed a rise in overall sales of online businesses. This has positively impacted the growth of companies in the chemical industry, such as Arkema, that had a sales growth of 2.1% in 2020, driven by a significant improvement in volume. It has been a new norm for people to purchase online. In your opinion, do this change possibly lead to lesser launch of physical store? If yes, how does this impact the world economy as a whole?
Let me explain it in this way. Is there a sales growing because of e-commerce? in the first place. Yeah, you mentioned Arkema, for example. They have sales growth 2%. I can tell you we had even a sales growth of 20%. Even in Corona times, and especially chemical industries, we have also pharmaceutical stuff, ingredients for vaccination and so on. You can imagine chemical industries, pharmaceutical industries, where we're coming from, they were growing. Absolutely. So we had a growing of 20% in our sales volume, no doubt about it. We had even in the EBITDA margin, we had a huge growing. Yeah. Is that coming only from an e-commerce? Are there possibilities? I believe at the end, yeah, you can reach customers also with the e-commerce, with the activities, and which you might have not reached before. So these are additional customers. I mentioned the young purchaser who's buying everything in the internet. He want to buy these products also now in the internet. Yeah, that might be a new client to you. Yeah. But you will have also older clients which switch. Most of them, they do not switch completely, but they take, I believe they take this as a mix. They take the possibility to buy a spot from time to time, products on a spot basis from time to time via the digital channel in the e-commerce area, but they're still buying their regular products, yeah, still with a salesperson. From my perspective, and that's what we see, is that the mix makes it at the end. That means the mix from purchasing online, but as well also from the classical point of view. And our industry itself, yeah, I mean, as I said, we have a really very good growth over the last years. Also, that includes with the digital activities. But many industries, especially automotive or whatsoever, they have to reinvent themselves. Yeah, they going through a kind of a valley at the moment, and to boost themselves into new activities, into digital activities. Think about the automotive industries, where we also deliver a lot of products into it. Our products, chemical products for the automotive industries, they went down over the last years, clear. Yeah. But also here we have to change. Automotive industries is moving more or less with a certain different speed into electric areas, electric cars and so on. So here you need probably then different raw materials, different chemicals. And so we developed that. And we believe with all these changes in the industry area, we have a very good possibility to boost business again, to coming up also. But there are certain changes, that means certain materials which will be not requested anymore. But therefore, it is on us at the moment to develop new materials for new areas. And that is very, very important. That is it about the industry change. And the countries, industrial countries like Germany or France or the USA and so on, and even in Malaysia, you have to look into new possibilities. And new possibilities means not only new products, it means also new possibilities in terms of how I'm doing it, the digital way to do it, the activity itself. You have to think what I always describe it as multidimensional. Before it was okay, you were thinking in your dimension, you're getting better and better, you increase this product, that was fine. But a real innovation happens in multi-dimensions. What is not a simple thing. What is most of the time not going overnight. And you need a lot of different brains in this direction to reach this. And this is not only about products, this is also especially about services. Yeah, services you can imagine, which we did not simply had before. Yeah, now they got requested. Now we develop them together on a partnership basis with huge customers. Because customers came back to us and say, hey, this and this, what do you think about that? And we said, hey, that's a good idea. Should we develop that together? And that is the new way to work together. And even here you have possibilities to do this in the digital way. Yeah, you don't have to. You have to meet these clients. You have to meet them, of course, in the presence. But the ongoing development, a fast conference and so on, you can do virtual. So digital way is helping here also a lot. Yeah. And the factor of data science, I don't have to manage even here. That is the currency of the future, many of our colleagues say. And I believe that. Yeah, data science information is currency of the future. And if you have possibilities to to really develop that proper and to use all the data. We have workload, we have tons of data. Yeah? And if you can use this kind of data together probably with a customer, and you place algorithms on top of it, artificial intelligence, you're coming to the next absolute level. And that is currency of the future. And that is something where you really, really have to think multidimensional.
It seems like change and new norm are important in this business world. So for our last question, from your working experience to become a founder of a human factor training and coaching, what will you be advised to a student that wish to start their business, will also be in a 9-to-5 work environment, but does not have a large amount of capital to do so?
Well, let me put it this way. There is no such thing as a golden rule. If I would have the golden rule, I would sell this golden rule and but I can give you, let's say, a general advice. And let me plug this general advice. That's what I just mentioned now. You have to think also as a human being, as a person, multidimensional these days. Yeah, if you say, hey, I have a good knowledge in the field A, that is not enough. That is not sufficient. You have to open your mindset. You have to think and you have to work multidimensional. Yeah, so that means not that you have to be a super expert in every field, but at least your mindset should be so open and so flexible that you say, hey, I'm interested. That's the minimum from my point of view. I'm interested also to listen to this person because this person has knowledge in this field and that could enrich me personally. Yeah. And that gives the possibility. So to think multidimensional and to work multidimensional and to be open, that is most important these days. Yeah. So and that brings yourself forward, but being open in terms of knowledge is one thing. You have to be also open for your opponent. That means, and Adam, you mentioned it, my company is named Human Factors, yeah, and I really choose this kind of a title, Human Factors, because I noticed with all this, we were talking about this digital world, with all this digital world and activities, artificial intelligence, data science, everything is coming up. This is all numbers. This is all systems. Yeah, this is all facts. Many of even of my colleagues, of our salespeople, they said, hey, where I am in this case as a human being, what is my role in the future? And at the moment, many people, they have to find their role as a human being, because if computer can do your work, you can imagine you feel not very nice. You would say, hey, I'm useless. But that is not the case. As a human being, you have a value, and you will have always a value as a person. And this is a value which a machine or an algorithm will never have at this part, because you are capable to see your opponent in terms of emotions. You can see your opponent in terms of the feelings. You can see in terms of motivation. And a machine can only touch that a little bit, but it cannot work completely like a human being. So the request for human beings, for the human factor, is going at the same level higher as digitalization is going up. And that is a very interesting point, because you have two directions. You have the digital part, the science part, the data part is going up, but the request of human beings, yeah, the request in terms of what is my role, what is my value, that is also going up, this human factor part. And here you have to be really good in that. And that's why we also came up with this soft skills concept, because at the end, that can make the very big difference in terms of, well, your competitors, for example, they might have the same formulas like you have. They have also certain artificial intelligence, but maybe at the end, you have the nicer salesperson. Yeah, you have the salesperson, you have the people in the service which understand the customer. And here you have it. That's the human factor. And that's why I advise also, especially younger people, hey, be open, be flexible, learn to understand how to work globally, learn how to understand how other people think and what moves them. And here we are, that where we started in a way, at the point of motivation. If you ask yourself what motivates the person, what is kind of factors is bring these people forward, then you understand the whole situation much better. You understand also the person much better. And here the factor of characters and cultures coming very much into the game. If you can learn more about characters, about culture, about the communication in this part, that brings you really forward. That makes it at the end, that makes the big difference probably at the end. And again, to summarize it, be flexible, think and work multidimensional, be open for different characters, for different cultures, be patient. See your opponent, the person in front of you, see it as a human being, with a human factor, with human eyes, see emotions, see the soft skills, understand what is the trigger here, and that brings you tremendous forward, and you will be an absolutely super leader of the future.
Thank you, Mr. Lars, for your advice.
Pleasure.
So it is the end of our interview today. On behalf of the Sunway University International Business Society, we'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and sharing this valuable knowledge and experience with us. We are sure that every one of us learned something from you today. Once again, thank you, Mr. Lars. Stay tuned for our next YouTube interview. Until then, take care and stay safe, everyone.